Feel the Rush. Rush Limbaugh lives here. Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Welcome into News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
I just had my hair washed. I don't wear a mask when I'm washing my hair.
There are 7 vaccines globally now. The President of the United States can't interfere.
So there's no way I could have set that up.
Enforcement brought peace to the streets.
With federal funding.
Democrat-run cities have been disgusting.
The race is tightening.
Potential voter fraud.
You can't let them take your vote away.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. It is News and Views, Political Trivia Edition. Got a great program lined up for you, a lot to talk about. And we're going to have some good audio from Cousin Eddie. He was up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and got some new history lessons for you. Interesting stuff. Before we get to that, though, WITN is reporting, a lot of other news outlets as well. The North Carolina legislature has finalized a plan to spend that $1.1 billion of the state's remaining COVID-19 relief funds from Washington. The House voted today for the package. Actually, they reconfirmed the package they came up with and sent it over to they came up with the package. They sent it over to the Senate. They approved it yesterday. It went back to the House today, and they concurred. So it will now go, and the checks will be sent out. To talk about all this, Senator Jim Perry, who represents North Carolina's 7th District, Lenoir and Wayne counties, is on the line with us. Jim, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Your friend, Benny Hardy, is with us as well today, so you're in with good
Benny.
Company.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm well. Hope you are.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you, as you look over the spending of this $1.1 billion, and you can certainly chime in with some specifics, but what do you like and what do you dislike about the way this money's been allocated?
You know, I think anytime you're dealing with large sums of money like this, and you have to think about spending statewide, you get a lot of things right. You see a lot of good things that happen. But you know, I'm from Eastern North Carolina, so of course I would love to see more of it pulled down our way. But
Sure.
I think we've done some really good things in the healthcare space. I think we've really tried to focus some dollars in the behavioral health areas, help with child care. Child care has been a big issue, especially as we've started back to school. You know, it's tough in our rural areas, tough everywhere, but certainly in our rural areas. We have spent a great deal of money over the last few years, actually, but out of these federal dollars on internet connectivity and increasing great grants, because that's it's a big problem for us. As you get away from the big cities, it's harder to get connected, and with schools going to remote learning is a greater need right now. So, really glad to see money spent in those areas.
Now, this package also includes some money that will be direct payments to families with school-age kids. It will also bump up unemployment checks. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we have a $335 one-time payment to families with children to help, offset some of the costs they've incurred as a result of schools being closed and the remote learning, and just something to try to help.
Now, is that for all families, or is there a certain cap of income that would?
No, that's families with children. So
Okay.
if you've got children, you file that 2019 return. If you didn't, I think you're able to go fill out a form to register for the payment. And it doesn't sound like a lot of money. I don't think that's something that people really understand. When you add that up, it's about $440 million. It doesn't sound like much to some, but it is impactful for others when you haven't been working, or you've had your hours reduced and you've still got these expenses coming in. So we thought it was important to try to help and get the money circulating the economy.
Oh, I think that's especially for young parents that have little kids at home, that that'll get them over the hump for sure. The extra money to the unemployment, how's that going to work?
Yeah, so and that's a tough one, because we've got some agricultural producers in our state who have open jobs. I've got one organization that has about 400 open jobs, and they can't get people to come to work. At the same time, you've got industries that aren't being allowed to open up, or they have limited capacity. So you got some folks that would rather be working. You got some business owners that would rather have their employees. So it's a tough situation to try to balance. So what we have is a temporary increase by $50 per week in unemployment, and by doing it that way, it hits everyone. If you just raise the cap on the maximum benefit, most people don't realize that unemployment cycles and cyclical unemployment typically impacts lower income workers. So even if your cap is 400 year round on state benefits, the vast majority never hit that. So by increasing the payout by $50, it goes to everyone.
Now that's not going to be retroactively or anything. That's just going forward, I assume.
That's right.
Okay.
That's going forward, and that expires December 31.
Now let me ask you this: there's also $8 million in opportunity scholarship funds for low-income parents. I have typically thought of the opportunity scholarships to be offsetting the cost of a private school education. The parents would have a choice other than necessarily going to a public school or a charter school. Am I correct on that? And was that hard to get through? Because it seems like when it comes to scholarship funds, Republicans are for it and Democrats are against it.
So the opportunity scholarship, I think some people may be confusing a couple of things. We had a grant program to help working parents with child care costs, and that is separate than the increase in the opportunity scholarships. And one of the biggest problems we have seen with the opportunity scholarships has been the cap that we had on kindergarten, first grade. As an example, I've got a school in my district that is 80% minority, but they've reached their limit on kindergarten, first grade students. So this legislation would lift that limit. We think now more than ever, parents are, as they're more involved, with their kids' education, because they're sitting there with them doing all this remote learning. More and more parents are saying, hey, I think my child needs specific things, and we want them to be able to get what their child needs, whether it be in a traditional public school setting, or if they feel their child needs to be in a private school. We want to give them choices, and we feel like parents are the best people to make decisions for their children.
How are these funds now? Obviously, the funds for direct to families and the unemployment $50 bonus. It's pretty obvious how that's going to be distributed. But how are all these other things going to be distributed?
Depending upon the area, a lot of them would go to the department that, as an example, Health and Human Services will be administering some of the payments. Great grant programs, we put $30 million increase in the great grant program that goes to DIT, and it just follows their normal grant program. A lot of them already have these rails in place to be able to do things like this. We put another $44.5 million in hurricane recovery from the major storms, and of course, the emergency management already has programs in place and has systems to get that money out in the hands of the people that need it.
Now, I'm pulling from memory here, but as I recall, you got the federal funds in and you spent some of them, but there was about $1 billion left, and you wanted to find out. The legislature wanted to find out, okay, what are the parameters? Am I correct on that before you spent the rest of it?
Yeah, well, we were told to possibly expect some different guidance. So in the first guideline in the CARES Act, they said, hey, you can't use this to plug budget holes.
Right.
So if you had a budget item and you had a revenue shortfall, you can't use it for that. Now, if you can draw a line to expenses that are more COVID-centric or COVID-related, that's what this money is to be used for. So we heard some rumblings that they were going to try to change that guidance and give us the ability to plug holes. because we expect some, continued economic headwinds. The state forecasted about a $4.2 billion shortfall in May of this year, May 22nd. That was the consensus revenue forecast. And that hasn't gone away. We're still trying to get a clear picture of how short we will be and what we're going to be dealing with. But it's a little fuzzy. We didn't know if people would really hold those tax payments or if they would pay them at their normal time. And we're still trying to figure out, where we are and what the upcoming year is going to look like.
Now, you just mentioned you're going to use some of this for hurricane relief. Is that an area that you did have some flexibility in?
So, yeah, when you think about housing and the impact of the pandemic, we still have people with damages that haven't had their buyouts, so they don't have their normal residence. And when you start talking about their housing situation during the pandemic, it is exacerbated. So we have allocated dollars, from that funding when we have the direct line and just moved around some state dollars when we didn't feel comfortable. We don't want to be in a situation where we feel like we have to, or we could have to pay back the federal government because they come up and say, hey, you guys should not have done this. We didn't want to be in that situation, so we've been very careful.
Yeah, we had to do that once under Bev Perdue. Let's not do it again.
That's right.
Hey, Jim, this is Benny. With your experience in healthcare, you know the importance of the independent physician in rural areas in North Carolina, and I believe there's $25 million in there for independent physician support. Talk about that, if you will, and maybe if you know how much may end up in eastern North Carolina.
Yes, so the idea is that money would be sent to I want to get the wording right. I think it's the Medical Society's foundation.
Yes,
and they would set up the remaining parameters of that. We want to make sure that it really gets in the hands of the struggling providers who have been hit harder in this. And if you just think about any business, whether it be a healthcare provider or anything else, they need density to operate. They need a certain amount of patients. So it made sense to us that those in the more sparsely populated areas, the rural areas, would have been the hardest hit or the ones on the leanest financial times. But we have to make that available statewide, but we really believe that's going to be where those funds end up. It just makes sense to us.
Very good. Senator Jim Perry checking in with us out of Raleigh, back in the home counties of Lenoir and Wayne County. Jim, thanks for checking in. Appreciate all you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
You bet. Stay with us. More news and views coming up.
Jim Clement from Town Insurance is with me in the studio. Jim, this has been an interesting time for everyone. What has Town Insurance done differently during the crisis?
First, Henry, we've tried to put our people first, make sure that they're safe in their working environment, and we've been able to adopt a policy where people are working remotely from home on a rotational basis. Secondly, we've got to be realistic about the situation we're dealing with. We're all being impacted one way or the other by this pandemic, and we've got to acknowledge the reality of the situation and try to stay positive for our employees as well as our clients.
You work with a lot of different insurance carriers, Jim. What are they doing for your clients right now?
Each of these carriers is trying to establish what is the new normal, and that means being flexible in payments and being adaptable to change.
You guys are the best, Jim. We appreciate your information and what you're doing for your clients right now. For more information, call Town Insurance at 252-756-8300. And as Jim always says,
it's time to come to town.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. But what are you doing to keep your nose clean? After all, it's the body's air filter and the first line of defense against allergens that can make you miserable and germs that can make you sick, sometimes very sick. There's an all-natural way to clean your nose called nasal irrigation, and it's been around for hundreds of years. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make nasal irrigation easy and convenient. Navage flushes out allergens, mucus, and dangerous germs. It uses powered suction to relieve congestion without drugs. Navage is easy to use, it's not expensive, and it comes with this personal promise. Try Navage. If it doesn't help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier, just return it for a full, no questions asked refund. Over 1 million sold. Online at Navage.com or at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Make good nasal hygiene your new normal with Navage. Navage.
Smitty's Restaurant is back open every day for breakfast and lunch from 5:30 to 2. Smitty's is back with their great biscuits and full breakfast items every morning and their great country cooking for lunch at the Country Mart location on Highway 11 between Greenville and Bethel. And don't forget, Country Mart stores are now the home of Shell gasoline. Save 5 cents per gallon on your first 20 gallons with gold status. And remember, Country Mart has your 93-octane non-ethanol premium for boats, lawnmowers, and other small engines. Country Mart, Highway 11, where Smitty's is now open, and Highway 903 in Stokes.
I'm Dan Forrest. Closed schools deny our children their friends, sports, proms, graduations, their childhoods. Once past, these moments are gone forever. There's no scientific reason that justifies the pain and sadness we're causing our children. What's more, closed schools don't work for working parents. Deciding whether to educate your child or work to feed them is a choice no one should have to make. I'm Dan Forrest. When I'm governor, we will protect the vulnerable and reopen our schools. Paid for by the Committee to Elect Dan Forrest.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. Taking a look at your weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 76. Friday, a little on the hot side, but not too bad. Sunny, high near 94. Not 74, 94. Tomorrow night, the low is going to be around 70 with clear skies. Saturday and Sunday look great. High on Saturday, 82 degrees. High on Sunday, 84. Mostly sunny. So looking good for the weekend. The weather is brought to you by our friends at the Ironwood Golf and Country Club. If you've got a big celebration this year, consider celebrating at Ironwood. Whether you have a group of a dozen or 120, they can take care of everything, and the place is looking incredible. $300,000 in upgrades in just the clubhouse. The plantation-style clubhouse is the perfect setting to host your wedding, birthday, anniversary, baby reveal party, business meeting, holiday parties. Ironwood offers several private party spaces leading out to terraces with beautiful views of the Lee Trevino Signature Golf Course. Make your celebration this year one to remember at one of the most beautiful venues in eastern North Carolina. Contact Taylor Hetzel. She's the banquet manager there. She'll take care of everything. Give her a call at 252-752-4653, or you can email Taylor for more information at foodandbeverage@ironwoodgolf.com. By the way, there is a app out there. Moms and dads, your kids are in school, but they're also at home part-time. I think just about all the school districts in eastern North Carolina are in that, all the public school districts under the sound of our voice right here in eastern North Carolina are in a situation where the kids are going part-time and they're learning virtual part-time. Moms and dads, if you're not paying close attention, please pay close attention, because it has come to our attention that there is an app out there that some of the school, and I'm not saying that there's any nefarious thing going on with the teachers or with the school districts, but there is an app called Quizlet. It was the chief executive of Quizlet. Used to be at Google. He was VP product management at YouTube. Prior to YouTube, he was a founding team at Google Apps. This is an app that the kids can go to. Apparently, it is recommended by some educators that, okay, you can go and you can take sample tests there. I'm not sure whether or not any of the schools in our area use it directly to disseminate information. All I'm saying is you might want to pay close attention, because we've got a story about a individual, a student, who went on, signed up for this app at the recommendation of a teacher. And again, I'm not saying there's anything nefarious about the teacher doing this, but then Quizlet sends this individual, the student, an email, and on the email, among other things, you've got the Raise Communist Fist. It says, teach on, #BeTheChange, and Black Lives Matter. They say in this, Quizlet is partnering with esteemed organizations, the 1619 Project from the New York Times, NPR, Newslia, Teaching Tolerance, and others to provide a free digital library of educational materials on the history of systemic racism and other forms of oppression in the United States. Wow. Look, Mom and Dad, all I'm telling you is, and my hunch is, strictly a hunch, there are teachers, now there might be some teachers that want to deliberately send this out and they're on the side of this, but my hunch is the vast majority of teachers saying, well, here is a tool that we can use, with no clue that this propaganda is being sent directly to the students. They get a hold of their email and the indoctrination immediately starts.
You know, Tom, the indoctrination's been going on for years in our colleges and universities, and we kind of know that. But now, I mean, they're targeting students in our schools, and I encourage parents to go take a look at anything their kids are doing online, and to the listeners. You know, I educated myself on this 1619 project a few months ago, and went and read and read up everything that the New York Times had on it, and it's unbelievable.
You like fiction, do you?
Yeah, revisionist history, yes. But it's amazing that I encourage the listeners to go look at this and see what is being. They're trying to reach our kids. And it's amazing.
Changing gears just a little bit here, Joe Biden decided to go to Kenosha today. Joe Biden's crowd makes Hillary's crowds look enormous. So this is funny. Joe Biden gets into town. This is from the Daily Mail. According to the Daily Mail, a 60-year-old retired school teacher showed up at Kenosha's Civic Center Park to serve as a one-woman cheering squad for Joe. He arrived in town 2 days after Trump had visited there with hundreds of supporters. The woman, Michelle Sauter, told the Daily Mail that maybe I'm in the wrong spot. I don't know. She waved a Biden-Harris sign and sported a red, white, and blue cowboy hat, blue hair, flags, and Joe buttons she crafted for the occasion, saying, I made my signs and buttons. I'm really excited. Biden's welcoming committee was noticeably smaller than the hundreds of supporters and protesters that Trump drew. Biden and his wife met with Jacob Blake's family members. The woman said, this woman, Michelle Sauter, said, I'm not disappointed there's no crowd. Biden's side is peaceful. Yeah, that's the silver lining. Too bad you showed up. Otherwise, it'd have been perfect. Now, so he gets in, meets at in a building with the Joe Biden met with the family of Jacob Blake. And by the way, this is really interesting. The mother of Jacob Blake, the biological mother, Jacob Blake, and the biological father are total opposites. I mean, I don't know if you heard the interview that Donald Trump, first of all, left a phone call, and then this woman was interviewed afterwards, and she was very, very gracious, apologetic to the president because someone in her family who she said was upset had said some things, and she wanted to apologize for the president. The dad is a nut job. The dad is the biggest anti-Semitic individual you could imagine. I cannot read to you the things he posts on social media. You talk about a man full of hate.
Yeah, I read an article out from Wisconsin, and it's yes, exactly what you just said. It's amazing that anyone would try to arrange a meeting with him. Some of the things that he's put on social media.
Yeah, why would Joe Biden want to be associated with that? That he's getting together with this guy who is clearly anti-Semitic.
Well, to Joe's defense, he's probably not getting social media in the basement, probably.
The reception isn't too good. I don't think the reception's real good wherever Joe is. But this is interesting. I said at the beginning of the program, you're going to get a new history lesson that you probably haven't learned before. Joe Biden had what he called a healing town hall. And by the way, the healing town hall took place in a church. Now, how is it that the mainstream media, they won't utter a peep about the fact that he had a campaign event in a church. But you can hear the howling if it was Donald Trump who would have a campaign event in the church. What does this man have to do? Why is he going to the separation of church and state? But I'm sorry, I missed something in history. When I was going through history in high school, I missed this. This is Joe Biden talking about how we need to cut one, Clark. Joe Biden talking about how we need to teach proper history.
It'll be a whole heck of a lot better. We'll move a lot further down the road. People fear that which is different. We gotta, for example, why in God's name don't we teach history in history classes? A black man invented the light bulb, not a white guy named Edison. Okay?
I didn't know that.
Sounds like Joe was out of breath there.
He was wheezing. I watched several minutes of that event, and he was walking, he was standing up, he had a mask on, but beyond the mask, he was wheezing. He was having a hard time. The other thing that he said that I found interesting, too, was, A, he doesn't know the NBA from the NFL, but B, apparently some things have happened to certain NBA's players' fathers and grandfathers. Cut two.
I just spent time with a number of the NFL players and basketball players, including Steph Curry. You know, these folks are making a difference now. It's not about fame or glory, because they have brothers themselves, fathers who've been beat up, who've been brutalized just because they're African Americans.
I'd like to see that story. I never have heard anything about Dale Curry, former NBA player, father of Steph Curry. I've never heard that Dale Curry got beat up because he was black.
I thought he said Stiff Curry. Did he say Stiff Curry? I know yesterday he said Trump was stroking the flames. I don't know if you heard that. He was stroking the flames out in Wisconsin.
Well, at least he's not stroking women's hair. But of all the things, this is the topper. So Joe Biden's at this town hall, and they'd actually had a couple of shots of, they panned back, I guess is the way pan goes left and right. They pulled back the camera, and they had a shot of the crowd, and I'm very generous using that term crowd. Let me put it this way. They had no problem social distancing at this event. There is a woman who is attending the town hall. She is called upon to ask an impromptu question. And by the way, did you see yesterday when he was up in Wilmington, Delaware? He was answering a question from a reporter, and instead of, I can't remember exactly what the wording was, but he's reading the answer off the teleprompter. But he also mentioned something. He actually reads at the top of the page, it says top of page, and then it goes down to the answer. Well, he's looking at it, and he says top of page, and then goes ahead and reads the rest of it. But this woman is at this church, this healing town hall, and she gets up to ask a question. And among other things, she comes right out and says, I was told to read off this paper.
Hello, my name is Portia Bennett. I'm just going to be honest, Mr. Biden. I was told to go off this paper, but I can't. You need the truth. And I'm part of the truth. I was born here, raised here, first 8th grade class of the school that was named after his mother. So I have to give you the truth of the people. And the truth of the matter is, we are heavily angry. Not angry as to where people say, oh, they're protesting. There's a difference between a protester and a rioter. A very big difference.
Thank you for saying the obvious.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Are you going to hear anything from the mainstream media about the fact that these, quote, impromptu questions from the citizens of Kenosha to the vice president, she gets up and she says, I was told to read off this paper. I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to ask the question. I don't know what her follow-up question was, but this is unbelievable. Can you imagine if Donald Trump were to have taken a question like this? If somebody come up and said, well, President Trump, they asked me to ask you this question, but I'm going to go ahead and ask my own question. Oh, my gosh, that would be all over the news for the next 6 weeks.
Did he actually say top of the page?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's something to that effect.
I hate to pick on Joe, but if he wins, I guess he'll say when he takes the oath of office, I say your name. You know.
How many push-ups you want to do here?
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. But again, these are his handlers. These are his handlers who are directing the campaign and telling people what to say, when to say it, and then Joe is told how to respond. But yes, your observation was the same one I had. He was wheezing through the whole thing. I mean, he was running out of gas quickly. Did you see that Van Jones came out, I guess it was last night, and said the same thing I said yesterday? The tactic of taking Trump down via COVID is, COVID and Trump are ruining the economy, and let's take him down via that. That has been eclipsed now by the anarchists burning down our cities. And Van Jones has now called for a national moratorium on the evening Black Lives Matter marches and the burning down of cities. Now, the first question I want to ask is, why would you call for a moratorium? I mean, a moratorium is a temporary prohibition on an activity. So do you want it to resurface?
It sounded to me, when I heard him say it, sounded to me like he's asking for, hey, just hold off on the rioting until the polls change a little bit or something. I mean, it's unreal.
Or until the election's over.
Yeah.
Did you see the Washington Post came out with an editorial saying that if Joe Biden, I mean, these people are threatening. And these people on the left, whether they're in media or in politics, they're pandering and encouraging from the left. The Washington Post came out with an op-ed today that said if Joe Biden doesn't win by a landslide, that is the only scenario in which there's not going to be all types of violence. So if you want peace, Joe Biden needs to win the election by a landslide. Otherwise, there's going to be more violence in the streets.
Well, Joe Biden said something like that the other day in one of his campaign stops.
Yeah, insinuated it.
So if he said it, it's being talked about behind the scenes.
Well, and if he says it and he controls it, now we played that clip the other day about Kamala Harris saying, this is going to continue. This is going to continue. Yeah. If you're the ones that are directing it, if you're the ones that are telling, I mean, right now the Justice Department is looking really hard. Okay, who's funding all this? Well, I don't know who's funding it, but it's pretty obvious who's encouraging it. And at what point is yelling fire in the theater not a criminal offense? I mean, at what point do you take some responsibility? Is it criminal? Is it legal? Is it ethical? It's certainly one of the three, that you're not taking some responsibility over the fact that you are encouraging the continuation of this violent behavior. And for him, and he's, they're not even trying to hide it. Don Lemon and Cuomo on CNN, and now Van Jones, they're all CNN guys coming out and saying, well, I mean, Don Lemon came out and said the polling doesn't look good. Let's stop the fires. Let's stop the rioting. Let's stop the anarchy.
Well, it's definitely an organized movement because, the liberals always like to use the term, it's an organic movement and all. I mean, this is planned. They're too organized. There's some isolated riots and all, and just people looting just to be looting. But there's too much organization in these protests and riots.
Let's take a time out. We've got a lot more to talk about, but we got to get political trivia in. Got a great prize package. Your category today, 5618255. Your category, the JFK assassination. That's a hot one. Everybody loves that one, right? The JFK assassination got a prize package worth over $200. You might be the winner. Give us a call, 5618255. We'll be right back.
It's the second annual Emerald Isle Fishing Tournament, September 19th, presented by Jason Holland Mortgage Lending Team, Goose Creek Marine, Real Outdoors, and the Crystal Coast Tourism Development Authority. There are 2 divisions, King Mackerel and Surf. For more information and to register online, go to emeraldislefishingtournament.com. Auction on Facebook Live Wednesday, September 16th at 7 p.m. and Captain's Party on Facebook Live Friday, September 18th at 7 p.m. See you at the second annual Emerald Isle Fishing Tournament.
University PC Care has been ENC's go-to IT expert since 2006. And now Ashton and his team want everyone to know they're still open for business during this virus outbreak, especially since Apple has temporarily closed its stores. So for local Apple authorized service and repairs on any PC in the Greenville and New Bern area, simply call 252-558-1280 for support. Many services can be done remotely, and they also offer free pickup and delivery. Learn more at universitypccare.com.
Know what I like most about my new phone from US Cellular?
I don't know.
That it was $700 off.
What? Switch to US Cellular and get $700 off the latest phones. US Cellular. Choose fair.
Promotional pricing requires an unlimited everyday or even better plan. New line port-in credit approval qualified smartphone purchase and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month retail installment contract. Taxes, fees, and additional restrictions apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop off your phone on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent. Call 252-799-7051.
During these unprecedented times, we know you're all worried about your family's health, your job, and paying your bills. Stop the endless debt cycle, especially now. Be proactive and take advantage of unique programs in place to help you get free of your debt. Don't wait for the bills to pile up and the banks to breathe down your neck. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get free of credit card debt, internet and signature loans, and even timeshares. You pay only a fraction of what you owe, and they even offer a guarantee. Call now at 800-533-6605 to see if you can qualify and receive a free book written by our CEO, the Debt Dietitian. A+ rated. Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get debt relief without considering bankruptcy. During these stressful times, debt doesn't need to add to it. Call now, 800-533-6605, and get your free copy of the book to help you at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
All right, welcome back in. It is time for Political Trivia, 561-8255. Your category, the JFK assassination. Your prize package includes a free oil change for your car or pickup at Dave Davis's East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep or at Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. A gift certificate from Fit for Life 24, including 2 free training sessions with a fitness coach. A $20 gift card to the Pirates Cove Car Wash, a proud partner of the ECU Courtesy Car Program. A $60 diagnostic card from University PC Care for any iPhone or PC repair. Free round of golf for you, including cart at Ironwood. A $20 gift card to Mucho Bueno for lunch or dinner. Mucho Bueno, real Mexican street food, located in front of the Westbrook Shopping Center, US 70 West in Havelock. And a $20 gift card to Gwendy's Goodies Bakery in Aden. Delicious, baked fresh, made from scratch goodies. Remember, if you or anyone in your immediate family have won recently, let 60 days pass before you play again. First up from Greenville, we've got Tom on the line. Hey, Tom.
Good afternoon.
You ready to play?
I guess so.
All right, your category, the JFK assassination. Now, are you a JFK assassination? Are you fascinated with that subject, or is it just you just wanted to play?
I was in the 3rd grade when that occurred, so I remember vaguely that day.
You're my age. I remember that day as well, and I was in the 3rd grade at the time. JFK assassination. Here's a question. What Hollywood motion picture was viewed by Lee Harvey Oswald just days before the death of President Kennedy? It was said to have been a strong reinforcement for Oswald to carry out the assassination.
I don't know. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. I don't know.
That was a little bit later, but that's a good guess. I appreciate it, Tom. Thanks for the call. 561-8255. Let's go to Sarah in Snow Hill. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
What do you think? Did you hear the question?
I have no clue. I have no clue what movies came out at that time.
Take a guess. Take a wild guess.
Let's see. Trying to think of a movie that was out then.
1963, November. It was November 22nd, wasn't it?
November 22nd, 63.
Yeah. All right, Sarah, think about it. Give us a call back. 561-8255. Let's go to Greenville. We have Jimmy on the line. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, Tom.
What do you think? Hollywood's motion picture was viewed by Lee Harvey Oswald just days before the death of President Kennedy. It is said to have been a strong reinforcement for Oswald to carry out the assassination. What was the name of the picture?
I'm afraid I just don't know that one.
All right, well, thanks for calling in. This is a stumper, huh? Might be time for a hint. 561-8255. Let's go to Brian in Winterville. Hi, Brian. Brian, you with us? Brian didn't like it, apparently. He hung up. Let's go to Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Good. Now, you're usually pretty sharp on these kind of things. Do you want a hint, or do you think you know it?
I've got a good idea, but I'm certainly not. I'm not.
All right.
The
The movie was popular in the mid-1950s. It's rather obscure today.
Oh, it's not what I thought it was. Then.
What did you think it was?
I was thinking it's a Manchurian Candidate.
That is not it. That is not it. You know, I tested this question out, and the person I tested it out on, that was their first answer. Good guess, though, Mike. Thanks for playing. 561-8255. Let's go to Betty. Hi, Betty.
Hi.
What do you think?
According to Google, I'll be honest with you on that, it was We Were Strangers.
That's not it. Google
not
is
it?
That is not it.
Oh,
now you might be
Google
thinking
is wrong.
you might have looked up the movie he was watching the day of the assassination, but that's not what we're talking about. He watched this several days before it happened, and it's said to have reinforced his desire to carry out the assassination. So can't always trust Google, Betty. 561-8255. Let's go to Morris. Hey, Morris.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What do you think?
Frankenstein.
That's actually a good guess, because that's a nutty movie. That's a scary movie, but that's not it. 561-8255. Let's go to Sean. Hey, Sean.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What do you think? Do you need another hint? Say again, Sean?
Rebel Without a Cause.
A Man Without a Cause? That's not it. Good guess, though. 561-8255. Carmen. Let's go to Carmen. Hey, Carmen. Carmen, you with us?
Yes.
What do you think? Do you need another
We Were
hint?
Strangers.
No, that is not it. We Were Strangers is not it. This is a stumper. Let's go to Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing? Was it War as Hell?
It is not War as Hell. Wow. I had no clue that it was going to be this hard. 561-8255. So, John is on the line. John, before you guess, let me give you another hint. The movie was popular in the mid-1950s. It is extremely obscure today. It is out, though. You can find it, but you got to go hunt for it. The star of this movie would have been in the role of Lee Harvey Oswald, okay? The star of the movie would actually have been in the role of Lee Harvey Oswald. What do you think?
The Cry of Battle.
The Cry of Battle is not it. Good guess, but that's not it.
My best guess.
561-8255. Do you need another hint? Who do we got there, Clark? Just give me somebody. Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris. Where are you calling from, Chris?
How you doing?
Good.
I'm on the road coming back from Kansas.
All right. You need another hint? I better give you one because we're running out of time.
Yeah, I'll take it.
The star of the movie was Frank Sinatra.
Oh, I have no idea. I was going to say From Russia with Love, but that's not it.
That's not it. That's not it. That
All
would have
right.
been out about that time, though, wouldn't it? I mean, that was right in that era.
That's
Yeah.
what Google said.
Yeah. No, that was not it. 561-8255. Who do we have? Who's this?
Jay.
Hey, Jay. Well, you've got our producer all bumfuzzled. Jay, what do you think?
War is hell.
The War is Hell's already been guessed. That's not it. 561-8255. Let's go to Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Good.
I'm back again.
All right, what do you think?
I just remembered I watched this movie recently. Suddenly.
That is it. That is it. Yes. You know, it was interesting because when I was looking up this question, I'd be honest with you, I've never seen the movie, and I'm pretty much I love old movie flicks, especially from the 40s and 50s.
It's a good movie.
Well, yeah, and I've watched a couple of the trailers, but and Frank Sinatra is really the bad guy, but
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah. Congratulations, Mike. I'm actually congratulating myself because we stumped you the first time, but
You did. It was a hard question.
hang in there. Clark's going to get all your information. We got a bunch of prizes we're going to get out to you. Thanks everybody who played, and Benny and I'll be right back.
Pitt County has a rich tradition of collaboration, bringing organizations and individuals together to improve the quality of life in our community. It is because of these strong and interconnected community partnerships that the county is honored to receive the 2020 All-America County designation from the National Civic League. Through innovative solutions such as the Local Reentry Council, which has helped transition over 500 individuals from incarceration back into society, or the Farm and Food Council, which works to promote a more sustainable and equitable food system, or the innovative Community Paramedic Program. We strive to open doors of opportunity to new pathways of success for all our residents. Pitt County is grateful to the National Civic League for recognizing our efforts in truly being an All-America County. To learn more about this award or how you can get involved in your community, visit www.pittcountync.gov/allamerica.
Hey there! If you're hearing this ad right now, we want to talk to you. Hi, I'm Rachel Tyre, owner of Tyre Realty Group, and as you've probably heard by now, the real estate market is booming, and we need your help. We are currently in search of 3 to 4 driven salespeople to join our real estate team and assist us with the high demand. Whether you're licensed or not, we need to talk. So what are you waiting for? Visit our website at trgcareer.com or give us a call today, 252-758-HOME. That's 252-758-4663.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. That's ZipRecruiter.com/search. ZipRecruiter.com/search.
Right now, we all might feel a little disconnected. For seniors living alone with smaller social circles, feelings of loneliness and isolation can feel overwhelming. But there's something we can all do to help. Connect with your older loved one virtually and have the conversation of a lifetime with StoryCorps Connect. Anyone can conduct an interview, and every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history. Connect, honor, share at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Back to news and views. Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Congratulations, Mike Cashmere, who got it right finally. The movie was Suddenly. That's what, in fact, we were talking about it during the break. Benny and I were. In this movie, Frank Sinatra and a couple of his, he's the bad guy. They pretend to be FBI agents. They go to this person's domicile, the residence, which is an apartment above on the second floor. And the president is not traveling in a limousine, but he is coming in on a train. And they set up a long-range rifle in the window of this person's apartment with the idea that they're going to kill the president. And interesting film. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. But it came out in 1954. The other interesting thing about this was Frank Sinatra was a big John Kennedy supporter. In fact, I think, didn't he come up with some song just for him? I can't remember what it was.
So, yeah.
But he was a big Kennedy supporter. The reason why you don't see the film today is not because it wasn't popular, but because Frank Sinatra demanded that it be taken out of circulation, because he was so upset when he found out that Lee Harvey Oswald had watched this film a couple of days before. I don't know, it might have been a week or so, but days before the assassination was carried out. And what's interesting about it is, there are some similarities. Like, remember Lee Harvey Oswald, he broke into the book exchange, went up on, was it the 7th floor, set up a long-range rifle out of the window. You watch this movie and you'll begin to connect the dots. But the name of the movie, Suddenly, which is also the name of the fictitious town in which this takes place. I think it was Suddenly, California. And stars Frank Sinatra, came out in 1954. But go look it up and watch it. It's interesting.
Yeah, that may be one for this weekend.
Yeah, there you go. If you go Google Suddenly with Frank Sinatra, though, you can at least watch the trailers. I don't know if you can watch the whole film online or not. Interesting stuff, though. Thanks for everybody who played. Our thanks to Senator Jim Perry for filling us in on the finances that are going to be spent on North Carolinians related to COVID. And we'll do it again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.